Welcome back, Dan Joss, to Money Talks. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, as I get older, I think about a lot of things. One of those things is what happens when I stop getting older. So let's talk a little bit about estate planning.
Oh, that's an exciting topic.
Yes. It can be exciting in many ways. So, educate me a little bit on estate planning, Dan Joss.
Sure. When a new client comes to me asking typically for investment advice or questions about money, I always ask them about their estate plan.
Okay.
Because there's no use planning for anything if when you pass away, nothing works the way you had wanted it to work.
Okay.
And I'd say there's some basic documents that everybody should have, estate planning documents. The first and probably the most important is a will, where you say what you want to do with your belongings after you pass away.
Okay.
Many people don't.
And if there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way.
Okay.
Yes, and you've actually expressed your desires and put it in writing so that when you're dead, people will know what you wanted to do.
Okay.
And in particularly the state. If you don't have a will, the state has a plan for you, and it may or may not actually be what you wanted. So it's best to meet with an estate planning attorney, draft a will, and then your plan will be available for others to see.
But it's not really available for others to see until you're deceased.
That's right.
I mean, you can
But
share it
you've-
with somebody,
you've
but it's not filed down to the courthouse until you're deceased.
Right. You need to have a proper executor. That'll be someone that carries out those wishes for you. You'll list how you want to distribute your estate, the things that you own, and
Okay.
that could be real property or investments and cash and other types of things.
Or your favorite shirt.
Cars and your houses and your clothes.
Right. Okay.
Some of those things you'd actually list. Others you'd just put in a letter that would accompany it, be a letter of intent. Here's why I want to do certain things, and here's some other things that we want to do but not actually express in the will.
Okay.
And then you'd, most importantly, identify guardianship for your minor children.
Right.
You can't do that in any other document. And if you don't do that in the will, the state will pick some guardians for you, or actually for a spouse. I've seen that before also.
Okay.
So I ask if they have a will, if it's current, and I use what's called my red, yellow, green light system. If it's
All right.
been done within the last 5 years, it's a green light and you're good to go. If it's between 5 and 10 years, then start thinking about it, because sometimes people we name in these documents have changed, or we've
Okay.
changed, or they've moved, and it's no longer reasonable to have them listed. But past 10 years, it's time to redo the documents.
Okay.
And certainly state law changes. And certainly if you came from out of state to retire here to Waynesburg, you'd want a local attorney to read your out-of-state will to make sure that it makes sense.
Okay. And complies with the Virginia laws.
Right.
Okay.
And we have several residents here that are here part-time and part-time in other places. And so, if you do go from Virginia to Florida every 6 months, you'd want an attorney in each of those states to review your will or these other documents to make sure that they work.
And is it likely to matter where you pass away? Will that be the determining factor on which will you need, or will it be based on where your residence
Yeah,
is?
you'd need one will,
One will.
where your residency is.
And so you would declare probably at the beginning of your will where your residence is.
Right, but if you own real estate in another state, then that state will control what happens. And so it's good to, you may be recommended to have a trust that could own certain properties so you could avoid some of those issues.
Okay.
And that's what the estate planning attorney is for.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'll raise the issue, and then I'll recommend you go.
So you're not
Fix
even
the
suggesting they come see you about a will. You're looking out and saying, hey, if you don't have one of these things, you probably ought to go see somebody else and get one done.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. A guy on our station encouraging people, to go do something that's not going to financially benefit him.
That's right. It's important and it needs to be done, so go get it done.
Excellent. All right, so that we've talked about wills if you pass away. Should we talk about wills if you're not passing away?
Well, there's other documents you need.
Okay.
Healthcare power of attorney, where if you can't express your desires, like if you don't have capacity to talk or you're injured or something, typically if you have a spouse, the spouse can answer those questions and direct doctors what to do. But if you don't or they're not available, a healthcare power of attorney would direct somebody to do that for you.
Okay.
A financial power of attorney would allow somebody to make financial decisions for you and to pay bills. Sometimes it's called a durable general power of attorney.
Okay.
But if you have to sell property or file your tax returns or do anything else dealing with money, those powers of attorney would do that. A living will is not a will, but it's a way to convey late life care decisions. Do we want to have life support or do we want to not have life support? That living will is where you express those desires.
Okay. Interesting.
And then there's other things with estate planning. A revocable living trust is a way to do all kinds of things while you're living, while you are living without capacity, and then distribute your estate after you pass away. So that's kind of a overarching, very flexible document that the attorney may recommend you get. And then there's things to do, like check your retirement account beneficiary designations every so often to make sure that they're still naming people that are alive,
and that you like,
and that you or you may wish to benefit.
Okay.
You should have a safe deposit box. There's documents that should go in that. I had clients move their safe deposit box as banks merge with each other.
Right.
There may be a need to do that.
Now, do you suggest a safe deposit box instead of a home safe?
No, in addition to.
In addition to?
Yeah. And there's things to put in each.
Okay.
Like if you have jewelry that you want to protect, it's probably inconvenient to put that in the safe deposit box. So you have it at an in-home safe, unless you wear it all the time and it's out. But a will should be available because you need it quickly, and the safe at the bank may not be the place to have it.
Okay.
But CDs or gold or other things that are important, a safe deposit box would be more safe than an in-home safe.
Okay.
So
All right.
both are good, and then it's just determining which holds what.
Okay.
How about that?
That makes good sense. So, we've talked a little bit about death and wills and stuff. You got thoughts on funeral arrangements? I mean, should you worry about that in advance, or just leave that up to everybody else, or what's your general thought on that?
My general thought is you should express what you'd like and write it down.
Okay.
You can plan your memorial service, plan your funeral, write it down, make your wishes known, because if you were to pass away, there's not much time before that, typically less than a week, and your loved ones will throw together something, and
Right.
it may not be what you wanted. But if you have a list of people that you'd like to attend, list of songs you'd like played, scripture verses you want read, who you want to be a part of it, it's best that everybody knows about it.
Okay.
So think about it every, not too often,
Right.
but put them down, let people know where, if it's in the red envelope in your desk, then that's
Okay.
where people will go.
But, I'm
Definitely not in a safe deposit box.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going back to you're a certified financial planner professional, and you're in here talking about funeral arrangements. You don't do funeral arrangements, do you?
No, I don't, but I think it's part of life, and I want to help people talk through those things so that their life is better.
So this is sort of just one of those things, at least in your mind, that a certified financial planner professional does, is you help bring it all together and help people get these things in order and their house in order so that they can enjoy their house.
enjoy their house, right? Enjoy their life.
Wow. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about today?
I think this was a pretty downer topic, so I think we're good.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in. If someone wants to get in touch with you, not to make funeral arrangements or not to write a will, but to just get their house in order and do this financial planning and consulting work that you do, what's the best number for them to call?
757-903-2127.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dan Joss. Appreciate you being on Money Talks.
Thank you.